Has life ever caught you off guard? Some things you just can't see coming. But Jesus taught how you can be prepared no matter what. Jesus said, watch for traps and pray. Good morning and welcome to 755 Live. For about 5 minutes, you'll hear all about easy to remember soundbite versions of what Jesus said. And the point is to help you experience life to the fullest, the Jesus way. Today's Jesus Said comes from Matthew 26 and Luke 22. And this is in the garden where Jesus was praying with his disciples before the crucifixion. In Matthew 26:41, Jesus says, "Stay awake and pray that you will not fall into temptation. The spirit is willing, but the flesh is weak." And then in Luke 22:46, so he said to them, "Why are you sleeping? Get up and pray that you will not fall into temptation." Jesus was asking them, couldn't you stay awake for an hour? Now, the context here, this was the night before Jesus was crucified. He was greatly distressed and went to the Garden of Gethsemane to pray. He took his disciples, but then he took the inner core, Peter, James, and John, and went on a little farther. And Jesus knew what they were about to face. He knew that he was about to be arrested and crucified. He knew that these disciples would need strength to not run away. What did they need to do to face the trouble that was on the way? Well, Jesus said they needed to watch and pray, but they didn't. And sometimes we fail to realize that, this was the inner circle, Peter, James, and John, who had the most access to Jesus in the time that he was on earth. And yet, even for this inner circle, when the going got tough, they got going. If the last few years has taught us anything, it's that we really don't know what's ahead. We sometimes can't even imagine the difficulties or circumstances that we will face. And what we need to do is learn how to avoid the traps. Life is filled with traps. You've probably seen that cell phone video, somebody looking on their phone as they walk down the street and they don't see a hole in the street and fall into it. Jesus said, watch and pray so we won't fall into temptation. If we have the right focus, if we keep our eyes on Jesus, then we won't blindly stumble into the traps. But our flesh, our humanity, our emotions, and our selfish desires are the biggest trap in our way. Jesus said in Matthew 26:41 that we read, he said, the spirit is willing, the flesh is weak. And Jesus asked the disciples, couldn't you stay awake? Couldn't you pay attention for an hour? They needed that time of prayer. They needed that time of watching because our flesh is weak. What would Jesus ask us today? Well, we need to spend time with Jesus. Would he be asking us, couldn't you even spend 5 minutes on me today? Couldn't you read the Bible even 5 minutes today? Couldn't you even show up to church once a week? Couldn't you even begin to learn the disciple-making process with someone else? The latest statistics show that those in America who call themselves evangelicals, they actually spend less than 2 minutes a day in prayer. And unfortunately, the category that I'm a part in, pastors actually spend less than 5 minutes a day in prayer. We've kind of lost the principle of watching and praying. And that's how we avoid the traps. That's how we can see the obstacles in our way. We need to watch and pray. We need time with Jesus. And an hour a day may seem impossible, but be honest, how much time are you actually setting aside each day? And how can you increase that? You can start small. You can set your alarm 5 minutes earlier. Because Jesus said in Luke 16:10 that the one who is faithful in very little is also faithful in much. And the one who is dishonest in a very little is also dishonest in much. If you aren't setting aside time every day to be with Jesus, start small and be faithful with it. Maybe it's 5 minutes a day. If you're doing 5, maybe increase that to 10. If you need to do more, just add a little bit. Put it on the calendar. Set your alarm earlier. Make a place to shut out distractions. Make a commitment to do that for a week. The spirit is willing, but the flesh is weak, and we need to watch and pray. That's where the power to resist comes from. Is Jesus trying to wake you up and asking, couldn't you even spend time in prayer? Because we need to watch for traps and pray. That's what Jesus said. How can you put that into action today? Thank you so much for listening. If this is meaningful to you, it really means a lot to me if you like it, if you share it, if you comment. Good morning, Chase. It's great to see you this morning. Tia, good to see you as well. I really appreciate all of the support, everyone who comments and talks about this. And I hope that you have an amazing day. And I hope this time together has helped you live life to the fullest, the Jesus way. And remember, follow Jesus today. Love first.